Before I live the life of power. Top of the food chain, all the rest is devour. Heard your video drop the month ago and I ain't heard ya. The AP drop, it's murder, 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 murder.
All right, we're back. Back. We got our typical setup here going on, getting the pre-workout together so that we can train legs today. All right, so we're gonna do this one a little bit different. I'm gonna keep the mic on for just some middle of the training, coaching tips, things like that. But we're also not gonna make this like a full workout video. This is just gonna be a top 3, maybe 4 exercises to do if you don't have a lot of time, if you want to hit as much as you can with as little time as possible. That's this type of video. All right, so it's not necessarily like the best workouts to do for legs, but it's if you have a limited amount of time, you want the most bang for your buck, this is what you need to do. So we're going to assume that you're going to be stretched out. We're going to assume that you've got your warm-up in, and then we're just going to get straight into the video. All right. I don't know what's going on with the background. I think the TV is flip-flopping colors. All right, folks, so before any training session, you want to make sure you get your stretching in. I'm just running through very quickly for the camera some of the stretches that I do before leg day. Sometimes I do dynamic stretching, static stretching. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, but I'm just walking through a few stretches that I do before this workout. Feel free to follow along or do whatever it is that you like to do before you start training. So first up, we want to warm up the quads with some seated extensions. You could do single or double as I'm doing here. Want to get about 10 to 12 reps. Make sure we're controlling the weight on the way down and we're not locking out at the top. All right, this will get our quads ready for squats later on. And then we move to the back of the leg to warm up the hamstrings. 10 to 12 reps for this one as well. Control the repetition on the way down, a little squeeze at the top. You don't have to stay up there too long, but you want to make sure that you get a good squeeze. As you can see, I'm moving at a pretty good pace where I'm stretching, squeezing, and then we'll get ready for squats. As I was going through my warm-ups, initially I had an idea for legs, and then as I was going through my warm-ups, I decided on something else. So today we're going to do some TUT training, TUT, time under tension. And so if you've never done anything like this before, essentially you're slowing down the movement. You're controlling the movement from top to bottom. There may be explosiveness off of the bottom, but when we're lowering anything dealing with the eccentric, the lowering of the weights or the releasing of the muscle, we're going to slow it down and just release it over the course of time. So you'll see that throughout this whole workout. Even when we're doing squats here, I'm going to be going down slow. Then when I'm releasing the muscle to stand up, I'm going to come up a little quicker. So get warmed up, get stretched out, do your yoga, get on the mats, and then we're going to get started. All right, guys, here we are. We got 135 pounds on the bar, and we're going to do some TUT training, time under tension. So the way that you do it here in the squat rack, and excuse the heavy breathing, but I'm already a couple sets in, is essentially our lowering is where we're moving slow. And so you'll see that when I go down, it's a time thing. And what that gives us the opportunity to do is kind of to assess our squat. So a lot of times we get under here and we just go down, up, down, up, down, up. And we don't realize where we're weak at in our squat, whether it's coming out of the hole, out of the bottom, or it's actually pushing the hips back to start the descent down to the bottom. And so when you slow down the movement, you can see if you have any hip shift. You can see if you're putting more weight on the balls of your feet versus sitting back on the heels. And so this is a really good technique to use for assessing your squat, to use for increasing the numbers on your squat, and just for being or having a safer squat. So I'm gonna talk my way through this the best that I can. So we load the bar up on our back how we normally do. Whether you're a high bar squatter, low bar squatter, really doesn't matter for this one. We get in our stance, feet just outside the hips, toes slightly turned, and we start our descent. 1, 2, 3, 4, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, up. So what I'm doing is I'm standing up straight right now. Now I'm kicking my hips back, and now I'm starting to squat down. And I'm slowly descending down, and I'm standing up fast, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Chest stays upright. Just like this. All right, I lost count, but I'm getting 10 reps of that in, all right? Let's keep it going.
So even though we changed this to time under tension training, we're still going to follow the idea that this is something that we're going to get 4 to 5 exercises with and train the legs completely. So we're moving on here to 225, and as you can see, we are still keeping ourselves under control, lowering ourselves and exploding up. And even here with 315, we're still lowering ourselves under control, exploding up, getting that information and that feedback from doing the time under tension training, moving slow enough to say, hey, I'm shifting this way, or my knee isn't going out that way, or whatever the case may be. So there's just one of the benefits of the time under tension style of training.
All right, next up, we have sort of a hybrid exercise, but not really. This is a box step. If you've never used this safety bar before, the squat bar that has the weights a little bit lower than the bar itself with the handles, it's an excellent option, especially for this exercise. But you can use dumbbells, kettlebells, or a regular bar with this. So what we're doing different here is instead of just doing a box step, we're going to lower ourselves down into like a lunge position, hold it for half a second, and then step up. So just tighten the squat rack, so make sure you got plenty of room, plenty of clearance. We'll just do 5. I got 25-pound plates on so that I can talk through this demonstration, because 45s are going to kill. All right, so right now I could just step up from here, but what I want to do first is lower myself. So we get in the step up position, we lower ourselves, hold for a second, step up, back down, load, up, 2. Going to get 5 total here. 3, 4, 5. All right, so typically we would do 10, but so we can keep this video rolling. We'll get 5, so load up. 1, 2, 3. Want to make sure we keep the chest upright, back flat. 4, and pushing off that front foot. 5, all the weight is on the foot that's on the box. All right.
So if you've never done this variation of this exercise, you want to get a high box so that when you go down for the lunge, your knee has room to clear. It doesn't necessarily have to be this high. This is just what was available to me. But getting a box where your knee has room enough to clear so it doesn't hit the ground when you lunge down is what you want to shoot for.
Let me share this with you real quick. I now have wrist wraps available. So if you're someone who does a lot of bench pressing, barbell curl, overhead press, or anything where you need stable wrists, these are the wraps for you. Just head over to my website, www.aphhealthnutrition.com, and get yourself a pair. All right, back to the video. All right, I'll coach this one up a bit. So we're doing RDLs. Let's get the hamstring showing. We're doing RDLs. We're doing them with dumbbells instead of a bar. I like it better because you're able to let the dumbbells ride down your legs. It's more of a natural movement for me versus having a bar in the front and a lot of tension on the back. So with these, we want to make sure that we're pushing the hips back. So this is what we're doing. What we're not doing is this. All right, what we're doing is pushing the hips back, allowing the chest to fall. All right, you can probably see the hamstrings poking out, and you'll see the further I go back, the further I push my hips back, the more tension we get on them. So as I said, I like to let the dumbbells ride down my thigh. We're not going to keep them in front. So chest upright, push the hips back, let the dumbbells ride down those thighs, down the calves. My goal is not to touch the ground with the dumbbells. The goal is to push my hips back as far as I can. All right, as soon as I feel a significant pull in the hamstrings, I'm coming back up. All right, I should be able to go down a little further with each rep. But again, the goal is not, I repeat, the goal is not to touch the dumbbells down to the ground. We want to let our chest fall naturally as we push our hips back. I don't know how many reps that was, but we'll do a few more. I'll turn, maybe you can see a little better. Push the hips back, let the chest fall, keep the back flat, and that's how you do it.
And I'm recording this set just to show you that regardless of the weight, the technique should remain the same. These are 100-pound dumbbells, and the technique is going to be just the same as if I was holding 60, 50, or 40-pound dumbbells. So just remember, we're pushing the hips back, allowing the torso to fall, creating a tripod with our foot, and driving up through the movement.
All right, we are at the end. Hopefully you guys got a lot of benefit out of that. Trying to scooch over here to get my protein ready, but that's it for this workout. It was real simple, 5 exercises that if you don't have a lot of time, these are probably some of the better ones to do. Maybe a few of them you haven't done before or haven't seen them done like that before, and hopefully you can add that to your toolbox of selection list for leg exercises. So just remember that today's time under tension is all about keeping the muscles under tension over a period of time. That way we can, one, assess the movement better. So if we have a deficiency somewhere, whether we're off balanced or whether we're not strong in one part of the movement versus the other, we can start to target that and get stronger there. And then 2, we can just get stronger all around. If we can reduce the amount of places that we're weak in the movement, then we can increase the strength of the movement altogether, if that makes sense. You know, kind of rambling because I'm trying to get a couple things going, but hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully we got some benefit out of this. If you can't see the sweat all over my face, hopefully you can see me sweating all over the bench here, all over the floor here, and my legs are trembling. So with that said, we will get out of here, and I'll see you all at the next one. I can't get up to do the closeout. See ya.
Mr. Pressure, push. We up in focus. We talk. Push.
For coaching, clothing, programs, www.aphealthnutrition.com.